everyone. Welcome back to the Health Made Simple show. Welcome back, Dr. Bart.
Thank you, and welcome back to you. It's nice to have you here. We've missed you dearly on our show here.
Bart, that is so kind. It is really nice to be back with you guys. And Bart, welcome back from the other farm that you visit now and again.
Yeah, I just had an amazing visit. I was able to spend, I guess, about 4 days up in Wisconsin. I visited the standard process farm to fulfill my urge, the geek part of me, I guess the scientist part of me that loves to dive deep into literally the soil. I was able to do that. And then also to connect to really some of my favorite people in the world and my new favorite people, because I met so many people that I didn't even know before.
Those are the best kinds of experiences when you get to walk into a room, friendly faces and new faces. Bart, who was in the room with you at Standard Process?
The best description would be that it was what I would consider probably the brightest of the bright, of the practitioners around the country and around the world who are also utilizing whole food supplementation, for the most part, Standard Process, and they may be involved in some other things as well. Yet, I think the uniqueness was that everyone there had some passion, some understanding, and kind of an overall love for the fact that the supplements that we're using from Standard Process are coming from whole food soils.
So awesome. So Standard Process is the company that you use for supplements, is that right?
Correct. Standard Process is, there's other companies I use as well. Yeah, I would say that we're probably 95% of the time are using either Standard Process or really their sister company that's out of Australia, it's MediHerb. And it's not because I'm not, I haven't educated myself on other supplements and whatnot yet. When it really comes down to it, my goal is always to find the absolute best things that would first be suitable for me and my family, quite frankly. Then my dogs, of course, and then also for my patients. And it's been a journey and a search, and it's ongoing. So this particular visit, so I've been to the farm several times, and each time I think I'm blown away just a little bit more, in the sense of I'm more impressed, I'm more excited about the things that they're doing and they're achieving up in Wisconsin. And forgive me if you hear my dogs in the background playing away that they're doing here. So this is my third or fourth visit, and I would say that this time I probably was more impressed than I've ever been in years past. And I think this for a couple of reasons. One, to see what they're doing and to see the investment of time, energy, and resources, literally money, that they are putting into having the most cutting edge farm equipment, technology, and innovative areas to make everything essentially not only just good for today, but moving into the future. So I always come back from events like these super excited about being involved and being able to offer the best tools to my clients and to my family and whatnot. But I think this time I'm as excited now as I've ever been in the past, and I feel really good about where things are going, especially knowing that our food industry is probably going in the wrong direction, but the good news is there's components of the supplement industry that are actually going in the right direction.
I imagine, I think this may have been the first time that you've been to the Standard Process farm since you yourself became a farmer.
Yeah, so, interesting, especially, and I think that's part of what has made it so interesting for me and so exciting to be there, was that I now have a small farm. And having a small farm, there's so many things that became so clear to me, and I'll share with you in the audience here tonight, just like I shared with a lot of my colleagues up there, that having my own soil and planting my own orchard and having my own chickens that I'm raising, the chickens that are laying eggs that are feeding me and my wife and my dogs, and then my community, we use those eggs in our cafe. When I go out to my orchard, I can promise you this, there is absolutely no way in hell I would spray chemicals in that field. Absolutely no way. And I wouldn't have before, but at least I would have said that. But knowing now that I'm responsible, I'm the purveyor of that soil. And there's just literally, there's no way, I want to protect it like I would protect an animal. And which has really been a fascinating conversation for me, because I think the more that we all get to that consciousness and really start to just kind of lean in the direction of recognizing that this is all so complex and that Mother Nature is really on our side, and we should at least pretend and act as if maybe we're on Mother Nature's side as well.
be in a room of people that have a consciousness surrounded by like that amazing soil. I know that we've talked about this, like the soil that the standard process farm has is like profoundly deep, I think, especially the topsoil.
Yeah, and it's such a big topic right there, and I'll dive into that a little bit because it's worth everyone listening to this. So if you're listening to this, of course, welcome to the Health Made Simple show. Keep doing the thing, keep sharing it out, and especially this little bit that I'm going to share right here about soil. This is important for all of us to listen to. So topsoil in our country, we're running into a problem with this, and this what I'm about to share with you is not super exciting. As I interview farmers and we talk to farmers around the country, there's a common theme, and one of the themes is that we're running out of topsoil that still has any nutrients left in it, meaning that the topsoil in our country is anywhere from 0 to 3 inches. And this is the soil that we put. So the way it works is this: the soil feeds the plants feed the beast. Okay, so the beast could be the animal, it could be you and I. But it is the soil that feeds the plants. And if the soil does not have nutrients, or if it's been robbed, or if it's been literally raped of all its nutrients, then the plants won't have them, and then they can't feed the humans. Even if you're eating a diet high in vegetables, you could be nutrient deficient. I'm seeing this clinically, and so are a lot of the clinicians around the country. We're seeing people with pretty good diets that are nutrient deficient because of the over-farming practices. And when I talk about over-farming practices, really what I mean is the monocrop system, and really what that means is that plant corn here in this row, and then we harvest it, and then we plant corn, we harvest it, we plant corn, we harvest it, we plant corn, harvest, and we continue to do that over and over again. And really the name of the game is the yield. Literally, how many feet of dirt do you have, and how much corn can you yield from that dirt every year? The challenge with that is it literally strips the nutrients out of the soil. So in our country, we have about 0, some of these farms. There's dirt on the ground, I know that, but imagine that the dirt is void of nutrients. So when you see a farm and the wind's blowing and that dirt is just blowing everywhere, that's because there's no soil to hold it in place. There's no topsoil.
When you see the top of the dirt blow, that's
just blown away. It's dead dirt. Yeah, it's dead dirt. It's almost like sand on a beach. There's no nutrients in it. There's no value for it. And across our country, we see that everywhere. So here's where things get a little bit exciting. So that's 0 to 3 inches. Well, before we get to the exciting part, I got to share this part too. So the beauty is more and more farmers, even someone like myself, we're starting to learn little bit by little bit, especially for me, things about regenerative farming. How can we give back to the soil more than we take? And that is one of the staples that Standard Process has made a commitment to. So not only do they make a commitment to me, the consumer, you, the consumer, and the patients out there to have the highest quality whole food supplements in the world, but they make a commitment to Mother Earth. They make a commitment to give back to their soil more than they take from it every single year. Whitney, that is so remarkable. It's hard for me to explain. So I'll put it in layman's terms. When our topsoil, when we plant in our gardens and our plants take this soil, take nutrients out, and our topsoil gets smaller and smaller, it takes 1,000 years to grow back 1 inch of topsoil. 1,000 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So it's beyond our lifetime. This takes thousands, and that's why regenerative farming, it's not just a cool thing, it's required. We need it moving forward for our entire culture. We're trying to feed billions and billions of people, and we're forgetting that we're literally raping the earth while we're doing this. And I tell you what, I don't like using that word, but it's the only word that actually describes it, because we're stealing from it. We're not giving anything back to the earth. So if you talk to a lot of the farmers and people that are involved with food and agriculture, there's been a conversation since probably early 2010 time where they've been talking about how many seasons are left of harvesting, meaning how many seasons do we have left worldwide in our topsoil. This is what's kind of gnarly or kind of scary. There's less than 60 seasons, and this was being said in 2014, so that's 7 years ago. So there's probably close to 50 seasons left of harvest, meaning there's only 50 years left of anywhere in the world having topsoil that can give us nutrients. That's a problem.
Bart, that's
a big
our
problem.
lifetimes.
Yes, it is, and it's everyone who's listening to your children's lifetime, and that's if they're accurate. The farmers will tell you it's not even close. They're saying the soil we're sitting on right now has no nutrients, and so these are real things. So the good news is this: there are
There is
places.
good news.
Oh yeah, there's good news. So remember 0 to 3 inches. Now it's standard process, and part of this, and I don't know all the details. I probably should have asked some of these, but nonetheless, somewhere way back in the day, and for those a little backdrop on standard process. This is a family-run company, and it's been in business since 1929, which is pretty cool. They came out with the first whole food supplements way back in the day. This product called Catalin. It's considered a multivitamin, but way beyond what you and I would commonly think of as a multivitamin. Meaning it's a whole food, meaning it has bovine adrenal, bovine liver in it. It has, plants and all these different vegetables in it. So it's a little bit of a whole food multivitamin. And in theory, it was designed that this would be the one and only supplement this is all we would need to kind of answer all our requests and needs for nutrient deficiencies. And this was way back in the 20s and 30s. Well, that one product, Catalin, is still available in the exact same form that it was, same formula, and it's still the number one seller. So it's really, really cool. Anyway, so that's just a little backdrop. And yeah, so anyways, they've had these farms for a really, really long time. And when they do a soil analysis, and here's where it's really fun. When they do a soil analysis, not only are they getting larger each year at a much faster pace than 1 inch per 1,000 years. So every single year, their topsoil is becoming deeper and deeper and stronger and richer. And the richer is an important part. Like I know I'm bouncing all over here, but I got to throw this in here. The compost piles that they have from their place. So they bring in all their vegetables off the farm and nothing goes to waste. And they chop it up and they press it and cold press it. And they take all of that, we'll call it waste, which is vegetables and soil and dirt, very much like we have in our cafe. So I'm just an amateur at this, and I've realized I'm doing some things wrong. So I bring mine back up to my farm, and they bring theirs right back out in the farm, which is just a couple hundred yards. Well, when I look at their compost piles, Whitney, they were probably 300-400 yards. So think of 3 or 4 football fields long, 4 or 5 feet high, and there was, I don't know, 3 or 4 rows of them. What's that?
Of all compost, like a person.
Of just compost. Black, steamy compost. And I'll make sure, folks, if you're following us on like Instagram or Facebook, I'm going to put some of those posts up there. And it's steaming because it's over 100 degrees. It's like 130, 40 degrees because it's fermenting right in front of your eyes. It's absolutely fantastic. And then they take that compost and they turn it every day. There's like a whole science of how you do this. And then they go spread it on their farm and in their land, and then they become richer and richer in topsoil. But let me back up one more time here. The topsoil in parts of their farm, some of it is up to 8 feet thick. Now, I need to make that relevant because an 8-foot thick topsoil literally takes millions of years to create. And what's exciting about that is that, one, it exists. And there are places like this. The only place we know that, especially when it comes to supplements, the only supplement company in the world that has this availability. And the good news is that for everyone listening to this, that makes it available to you. And if I miss this point, this is what's real important. Our nutrients come from soil. And I guess I did share this. The soil feeds the plant. The soil feeds the plant feeds the beast. All of our animals, and even us as human beings, are fed by essentially the plants or the soil. And if the soil doesn't have good nutrients, neither does the beast. So it is one of the reasons when I look at our chickens and I watch what they're doing in the ground that they're pecking and the worms and all of the things that are so symbiotic and so important. It's such a complex situation, but it's really, the reality is the goal is just don't interfere. Just don't mess with it. Just kind of step back and be like, oh, what could you use a little bit more of? And then you just kind of feed it. Another kind of a sidebar here, but I'm going to comment on this because it's fascinating. When I look upon the 900 acres of organic farming that they have, and depending on where you are on the farm, you just have these amazing smells, Spanish black radish, and just all these different plants. It's absolutely fantastic. When you look around, as far as the eye can see, you don't see watering systems. And this is very interesting. And in like down here in Florida, they had a very dry season. So I asked the question, like, how do they survive? I'm trying to grow my orchard, and I'm watering my orchard. Okay, so I'm learning as this goes, and they say, listen, well, that's a good place to start, but imagine for a moment if you didn't water your orchard and you got 200 trees out there, and at the end of the season, 20 of them, 10% of them survived. What would it tell you about the 10%? That they're stronger.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that they have more capacity. So this is what makes this company so unique. They've done this for decades. They let the strong survive, and they're okay with nature playing its course and letting the ones that don't survive in the drought go away. So their roots go deeper and deeper into this rich soil. So it's just like us as humans. If every time along the way things got tough, we bailed out and we used drugs and medications so we don't feel the pain, we never get stronger. It is in our challenges that we actually become stronger, and this is unique to the entire world and everything that lives in it and on it. So to see that philosophy applied, it reminds me of really the job I have, of trying to do my best to encourage and influence people to, it's okay to have challenging times, develop a strategy, build up your capacity so in these challenging times you can win, survive, and not have fear of that the next time around. So they do have some remote watering systems, but at very best, I think they cover a third of the farm. And I don't think they had to use them all year round, which is pretty cool. So, and I know there's a lot right there, but super. I don't even know if I have words to describe how exciting it was to see it. And I guess I geek out a little bit because I literally get to provide these supplements a little bit to my dogs, to my wife, and to our consumers every single day, our clients and our patients. And to know that they're made with that intention and that love, really it aligns with a lot of the things that myself, and to your opening question, who is there? There's probably 150 practitioners up there while I was there, and they all have that same philosophy. And, some words a little bit different, but absolutely brilliant men and women that most of them, at least 10 years, but some of them practicing for 40 and 50 years. So the wisdom that was there this weekend, the kindness and the love, it was really phenomenal, remarkable weekend.
I think it's there's something so special about being on a farm when you are able to have this bird's eye view of things that are mutually beneficial. Like your food scraps are feeding your chickens, and your chickens are feeding your belly, and your belly's like being nourished. But it's also the lineage part. So when you talk about this deep topsoil, it makes me think about all the other people who had had their hands in this land, and how incredible that history is when someone has had the opportunity where their family was on the land. So we get to benefit from that through the supplementation or having access to this soil that can't be recreated overnight.
Yeah, so some of the other fascinating things, and I don't think they'll mind me sharing with you that. So what makes this company so unique as well, and I know I keep saying that, yet it is really true. They have on staff their own scientists, which is pretty unique for a supplement company. And as a result of having their own scientists on staff, they get to literally experiment with all the nutrients and the different plants and different soils that they are literally growing. So they are actually bringing back what they call ancient plants that do not exist on any farm anywhere in our country right now. And their soil testing and their nutrient testing. So they are literally pushing the envelope when it comes to innovation and seeing where we can continue to draw nutrients from Mother Earth and from the plants that are, that come from our soils, to continue to elevate our health and elevate, essentially make stronger human beings. So to watch this in place. So I kind of knew it, but I didn't expect that they'd have an entire team of scientists. I didn't expect that they'd have an entire team of, clinicians inside of the facility, and every single one of them with knowledge of the product, knowledge of what and why they're doing. The philosophies are very held tightly, and it speaks to the culture that they've created over all these years. And it's so it was very impressive. And again, it was an enjoyable weekend, and I was very blessed and honored to be able to be there.
Well, oftentimes when you have a chance to hang out with standard process folks, Bart, sometimes you are leading by giving presentations, talks, seminars, instructing other practitioners. Was that an aspect of this particular trip that you were on?
Yes, yes, it was. So I actually had the honor to be able to speak to all my colleagues. So I guess in some degree it was kind of like a keynote speaking event. A couple of us got a chance to speak. So it was a little bit different. So typically, like in a week from now, I just got back from Austin. I'll end out in Houston another week or two, and I'll go out and teach functional nutrition and functional medicine and nutrition to practitioners. This was a little different. I had an opportunity just to speak from my heart to all these practitioners, and they really let me kind of just go after what I wanted to have the conversation with. And so I'll share with what I did. So it came down to this. So my conversation, really my talk with the other practitioners, because literally most of them are smarter than me, quite frankly. Yeah. So there wasn't really much nutrition talking or teaching that I was going to do. At least they appeared to be a lot smarter than me. Anyways, so I decided to have a conversation with I think is as real moving forward into the future in terms of healthcare and as healthcare practitioners for all of us. So mind you, in the audience, there was chiropractors, acupuncturists, naturopaths, there was health food store owners, there was pharmacists, there was veterinarians, there was medical doctors, all of them already super veterans in this industry. So the conversation and really the message that I shared with them was that this is a time for us as healthcare practitioners. It's our time to lead, especially as natural healthcare providers. And that means a couple things. Unfortunately, I would say unfortunately and fortunately at the same time, what took place over the last 3 years have created the lowest level of confidence that there's ever been in the healthcare system. And it's understandable. And when I say what I'm about to say, it's not because I'm picking on the men and women. It's the system that unfortunately failed us. It was proven that it failed us. It didn't help. Literally didn't help. And we get to learn a lot from that. The big takeaway is exciting. That the general consumer out there right now is looking for a healthcare provider that can help them lead to be a healthier, stronger human being. You would think that's a no-brainer, but it's not. In the past, we've always been taught when it comes to health that really all you're supposed to focus on was not having your symptoms. For example, if you had high blood pressure, go get rid of it. Go to the doctor, get rid of it, or have them check it, and if it's not there, you're good. And if it is there, that's not good, and take this and make it go away. Well, that game has changed. Many consumers are much more educated. Many consumers are now deciding, whoa, the healthcare system didn't have anything for me when we were probably in the most, in theory, scariest time we've ever experienced when it comes to disease and misfortune, when it comes to health in our country and probably the whole world. And so the general consumer, whether conscious or unconscious, is taking a step back and to some degree says, I'm going to look for the people who are ready to lead. I'm going to look for the individuals who are going to help me move better, think better, and eat better. And really that was my message. That was my message, that the opportunity for us, all of us that are practicing any level of health, natural health care, it's our time to step up. It is our time to lead. It has never been more available and more important, because that's what people are looking for. Information is at our fingertips, but that's not what people are looking for. People don't have time to study anatomy and physiology and learn everything. And that's where our healthcare providers, that's what we should be doing. We are the experts in systems and organs and glands. This is what we do every single day. So for that reason, it was super exciting to be able to deliver a talk or a speech like this. And boy, was it welcomed nicely. I think collectively it's exactly what we are all thinking about, we were looking for, and to have the collective consciousness in the room to kind of receive it properly. I think we just sent out 150 soldiers that are about to do some amazing things in their communities.
That means wonderful things for all of the communities precisely that are involved with them, Bart. It's so cool to hear you come away feeling really positive about kind of where we're heading as like conscious action takers for our health.
Right across the board, that's exactly right. I feel super good. And even when we hear people every now and then talk about, oh, there's going to be tough times ahead or just the economy and whatnot. Well, I'll tell you what, the healthcare system has already been shooken up. Can't get any shooken up any more than it already has. And as a result of it, so a lot of good things have come in. We have now recognized the value of building health versus just trying to avoid sickness. And that's when I say our healthcare system failed us. No one stopped along the way and said, hey, we should build up health and become stronger human beings. We heard the whispers around, and most of those people, unfortunately, were suppressed in their conversations and suppressed in their teachings. But now it's wide open. And inevitably, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you a question. Like, did you find yourself invigorated? Because I know that travel takes away a little bit from your routine and your ritual of being in office, and it
Mhm.
requires like
Mhm.
travel. But do you find that taking a pause on your regular routine to get kind of re-nourished and re-excited about things, did that energy come back with you?
Yeah, 100%. In fact, as crazy as it sounds, even because travel can be a little busy and everything, yet it's an opportunity for me actually to sit with my own thoughts. So I have 9 dogs in a couple of different businesses and just stuff that, and I love every bit of it and wouldn't trade it for the world. And yet I have a lot of like things going in and out of my ears and into my brain and rattling around. So when I have a time to sit in those moments and see where I'm at, where we are at collectively in the healthcare world moving forward, I'm super excited. I think there's more opportunity now, and to see that. So not only, so this, I think if I was going to put it in better words, Whip, when I go up there and I see, whoa, wait a minute, there's an entire business here, huge monster business that has the same philosophy, passion, and drive that I do. And I'm not alone. There's 150, so at least 150 soldiers just like me sitting in this room. That excites me as much as anything. Kind of it wakes up maybe a little bit that might have been a little bit quiet. So I'm super excited to see what comes of the next year. I plan on, you know, continue to educate, continue to level up, raise the bar. I'm looking forward to potentially next year increasing the speaking tour, being able to have more impact with more doctors, speak to more groups, whatever I can. And I think it is. I think it is the perfect time right now. And if you're a healthcare practitioner out there, you're a health coach, or you're anything that you are leading other people, hear me when I say this. The time is now. It is time for us to jump. Meaning just go for it. And jumpers, and that's something I like to talk about often. That be a jumper, go ahead and jump, and then on the way down, figure it out. Don't wait. Don't wait to figure out how to get things perfect or everything's perfectly aligned. It is through our experiences that we are going to learn the fastest. And I personally have found that the quicker I fail, the faster I move forward. So I think it's most people will share that same sentiment when it comes to moving forward and eventually developing excellence. So fail forward fast. And this is the time, especially if you're in healthcare. And listen, if you're listening to this and you are a health participant, it has never been better. There are as many options now. There are many pathways and avenues that if you can either by yourself or you find someone like me that can help you strategize and bring all of these ideas, how you're moving, how you're eating, and how you're thinking together, sky's the limit.
Bart, when we have a chance to do this podcast together, we do have this classic closing question. I wonder if I might just ask you this in a slightly different way in light of everything you've just shared. You
All
game?
right. Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing, Bart. So, what is one step that you are going to take towards becoming superhuman?
That I am going to become superhuman. Wow. I'll tell you this. I'll share a little something that I wasn't incorporating that I'm going to start incorporating. I was incorporating it, but now I'm going to make more of a commitment and see the more value of it. So, and it's subtle. So, one of the things we talked about, we're getting this beautiful farm tour, and we're looking at it just rows and rows and rows of just like, as far as the eye can see, these beautiful plants. And if I could say they were smiling, they were smiling. All right. And I forget her name. I think her name is Christine. She's been on the farm forever. Every year I go, like, like last time was like 10 years ago or something. She was there doing the same farm tour. And we're looking around, people asking questions, how about this and how about this? And she gave us a comment that there's only 4 people that they use to manage the 900 acres. 4 people, okay? Hold that. And they say, well, how? And they say, oh my God, how do you do this? How do you do this? And then she kind of looked up in the air, kind of looked out there and said, you know what? This is how it's supposed to be. Sun comes up in the morning. And God's given the power, some different words than this. But God gives life to the plants and the soil, and then the plants and soil give life to us humans. We just got to get out of the way. The power of light every day and getting in at the right time of day is significantly powerful. So they let the natural processes unfold the absolute best they can. So my takeaway to help me become a better, stronger, superhuman person that I was designed to be is I'm going to make sure I'm up and outside every day as the sun comes up. Which is interesting because about 2 weeks ago, we just got our cold plunge delivered. And so,
Hey,
yes. So I know, so I have made a commitment every morning to get up, and it's dark and it's cold, but I start my exercise earlier because I want to be more pumped up before I get into the cold tank. So
definitely.
I've been doing my sun salutations every morning in the light, and when something's right, the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do, to get some natural sunlight in our bodies and let the power that made the body heal the body. And so that's to answer your question, Whit. I will be incorporating more sunlight into my life, especially first thing in the morning.
So beautiful, Bart. Thank you for taking the time to share that with us, your recent trip to the farm. And thanks to all of you for joining us here at the Health Made Simple show. So nice being with you.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and welcome, and thanks again for tuning in for another episode of our Health Made Simple show. Keep doing the thing, keep sharing it out, keep spreading the love, and come back, join us again. We're gonna have another episode next week.
See ya.
Take care, everyone.